Television is not the truth. Television is a goddamn amusement park.
In New York, the shooting of another unarmed black man raises further questions about NYPD tactics.
We have to say that the police killing of Sean Bell was murder, plain and simple.
Civilly disobedient. Come on, I got a 5-year-old son at home that I'm raising, you know, and I can't let him grow up like this, you know, having the same life that I had, getting thrown up against the wall, searched.
What you have is a criminal justice system that is targeting oppressed people, and part of the way that they do that is through unleashing the cops and giving them a green light to brutalize and even murder people, and then exonerating them when they do it, even when it's done in the most outrageous circumstances. The police claim that there was talk of a gun and that they were trying to deal with someone who might have been armed. There was no gun. They tried to find one. But even if you take their story at face value, that they thought someone said they were going to the car to get a gun, what that actually means is that the people were unarmed. They've just said to you, I'm going over there to get a gun, if the police weren't lying about that. Why didn't they stop them and identify themselves and say, we think we heard you say you're going to get a gun. We don't want to see anybody killed. But see, that's not what they did off of this. They did what I just said. They shadowed him to his car. They blocked his car in. They surrounded him with guns, and then they began to shoot. What people would say to us before the verdict came down is that this happens all the time and usually the police get away with it, but they were hopeful that this time at least someone would get convicted around something, and we saw what actually happened. Not guilty all across the board, no one convicted of anything in spite of the fact that it was 50 shots at unarmed men who were doing nothing wrong. The authorities in particular felt that it was very important to say, well, this isn't racist because there were black cops involved.
In the Diallo case, there were 4 white male cops who shot a West African immigrant. So it was really easy to racially read that as white supremacist violence on an innocent young black man. And with the Sean Bell case, it became complicated because you had one who was an Afro-Latino, brown skin, you had another African-American, and then you had Michael Oliver, Lebanese-American.
Because the fact that a black cop is involved in no way lessens the racism. I mean, we talked about the numbers in terms of policing being focused on black communities and the racism involved in that. Well, many of the police that they send into these black communities to target black people are themselves black, especially if they want to go undercover. And see, that was part of the deal. These cops were undercover at this club in a black neighborhood, so they're going to send black cops. So when they go to target black and Latino communities, the fact that there are black and Latino officers involved in that targeting does not mean that it is therefore not a racist action, because the very fact that the policing is targeted in that way is itself a reflection of the racism of the institutions of social control.
The line taken by activists is that it's a structural flaw to have a DA who works with the cops every day trying to prosecute those cops because they have a long-standing relationship that are going to go far beyond this case, but they have a relationship that goes to case after case after case. I'll disagree with that and say that it's not a structural flaw. I think it's actually a structural strength. Those who would prosecute you are going to be your friends and are your colleagues, so that it becomes a citadel, closed door, windows shut down, and very protective of you. The DA who works with the cops every day is going to prosecute them, and the cops are going to get off, and the judge is going to make sure that they get off, and that everything kind of works as it should.
In this case, people are saying, well, let's go to the feds, as if this problem of police murder is some sort of aberration that only happens on the local level. Well, the federal Justice Department that people want to bring in is the Justice Department that is legitimizing torture and the denial of habeas corpus to people in Guantanamo, but also extending it beyond that to saying that it is okay for the president to deny those rights to U.S. citizens.
City Councilman Charles Barron is calling for the other end, which is calling community boards, community policing. So he's calling it for the micro level.
There is something important about the watching the police.
There has to be an intense, long, sustained pressure for that to be made into a meaningful institution.
That can, in some circumstances, stay the cops' hands, you know, because it's not just between them and the individual that they're about to victimize in one way or another, but they actually have to deal with the fact that others are watching, and if cameras are involved, it could end up on TV. Although we also have to point out that there have been cases where people who were doing that themselves became victims of the police.
For a federal oversight panel or for community policing to be meaningful, it has to be the result of long community activists and community at large agitation for that, and then the use of it. Without that, we're going to get a token board.
If something is going to be done about problems like police brutality, it's going to be from people taking independent action and not relying on, you know, some politician to come in and be the savior, because that's not the role that these politicians play.